Hey guys, Brandon Storrell here with Backwoods Boys Live, and today I hit the jackpot.
I can make a living from walking in the woods. You can bet I'll be sitting pretty good high on a hill, looking at a field downwind. If I can make a nickel off of turning in bass, never worry about the price of gas. I'll be wheeling and dealing and sitting there reeling them in.
So what do we have here? This is the Craftsman planer. I picked this up yesterday at an estate sale with a good friend of mine, Jason, and went out and we just kind of were doing some searching around. I was looking at a few tools and a few different things, and just happened to stumble across this and just couldn't believe it. The price they had on it was really cheap, and especially it being a contractor series. Really made it a lot better. Had a couple wires pulled out of it, and I had to repair a cover on this side over here. But beyond that, this thing is very stout. It's very heavy. It's not a cheap Harbor Freight planer, but that's for sure. It's really nice, nicely built by Craftsman. All your adjustments are precise. Pretty heavy duty. The motor's powerful, and like I said, it does 12.5 inches, which is really great. You can really get a lot done with that. So super excited to get it running and get it planing here. So let's get it started. Okay. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the whole idea of a power plane, or what a planer does, there's usually a couple different types of planers. You have like planers that do like edging and molding and stuff like that. They're a lot smaller. I can't remember what the name of them what they're called right now. And then you have this style, which is like a flat planer, which planes the top of the board, or the wide side of the board. So what I have is basically, these are two pieces. I think they were cut from the same group. And you can see that, there's a lot of ridges, and the overall straightness of the board, you'll see that they have a crown to them. And some of that's from my chainsaw mill, and some of that is from just the way that the wood is cured and dried over the last, year that I've had it sitting out. And here's a piece that I did just yesterday, last night, and it looked like this one at first. Well, now it's smooth and usable for lumber. You'll also notice that the thickness is a lot different, but in order to get rid of the inconsistencies on the lumber here, you've got to take it down. You're gonna thin it out. So a lot of times, and I'm learning this now, if I mill lumber in my sawmill, I want to make sure now that I cut it at a even greater thickness than I had done before if I want to get any good sized board out of it. So if you like inch-long planks and you're using a sawmill and you're going to plane, gosh, you almost want to cut it at about 1.5 inches or 1 3/4 inches, just so you have that much material to go down and correct all the inconsistencies in your board. So yeah, so these would basically be considered right here. This is plain, but it hasn't been squared or anything like that. And I'm not in a hurry to do it because there are some applications that we use this lumber for this style of look. It's kind of decorative. So anyway, let's get started. Let's get some stuff on the mill, or on the planer. Alright guys, so I'm not a complete subject matter expert on this in any shape or form. I have used it a little bit, and I've watched and helped a lot of other people use their planers, but I just gotta learn it as I go. On the safety side of things, you guys need to know where the business end is on this thing. And in this particular router, or planer, how do you keep saying router? Inside here there's a little rod that spins around with blades on it. So if you get your hands up underneath inside of there, and that thing is on, you're going to lose your fingers. So just stay away from it. If you got a mess in there, unplug it, double check it. So anyway, that's that. I always wear hearing and ear protection because I've been in the Army for 10 years and I've already done enough damage to my hearing. So enough said there. All right, so this is about as simple as it gets. You find your board and your board thickness. You could come over here and measure it and do all that. Well, all my lumber is like really very inconsistent all over the place. So I just take it up and butt it up here and start high and work your way in. So we're going to move the table here. And we'll kind of move this in. And basically, if it fits, it'll go through. Right in there. That's a pretty good spot to start. And you're going to see as this starts coming through that it's really going to it's going to have some different ways that it cuts. Here we go. got this side done. I think now's as good as time as ever to take a little bit of a break here and have a look at this. So you guys can kind of see, this is what everything looked like before. And it would need to be taken down a lot more, or not a lot more, but just to get rid of those. But sometimes you got to find a stopping point and not go any further, otherwise you won't have much left if it's really thin. You guys may have heard some of the popping and the crunching sounds. That was the some of these pieces of bark and this knot that was getting in there, and it was breaking them off. Definitely would want to clean off lumber a lot more. You really don't want to eat through bark either, because that's going to dull your blades. But I just really wanted to get this stuff on here, and just some really pretty grain. You guys can see, around those knots and stuff. Yeah, just really unique. This board would take some stain and just look fantastic. Real yellow coloration to it. So, pretty stinking cool, guys. Love this thing. We're also going to do some, we're going to have some other stuff, some projects we're going to plane up. And something I want to really get into is building some finer stuff, furniture, and different things like that. It'd be really neat.